don't know, Stephen, do you feel that the right team have gone through over the 2 games?
I think on the chances they created tonight, at times they were just superb to watch, and you want to see them in the next stage. We spoke about it here. You want to see players like Neymar, especially when they're playing like that. Like, it was breathtaking stuff at moments. How they didn't score goals beyond me, especially in the first half. Second half, Bayern got more into, a bit more creative. Sané was decent for them, but overall, I think PSG just played some wonderful stuff, and it's what you want to see in the next round of this competition.
You happy with the result? You agree with it?
Yeah, listen, we spoke before, and I thought we'd see so much more from Bayern, to be honest with you. The clips of the first game, you know, you thought the second half, they did show a little bit more, but PSG always looked like on the break they were going to score. That's, I suppose, the negative from PSG is all that play, all that really good play and chances they created. They didn't put one of them in the back of the net because it left it till the very end. There's even a chance with Man at the very end that you know, Bayern could have nicked one, and it would have been a travesty for PSG because I think on the night and over the 2 legs they deserved it.
And like, we don't know what's going to happen. Bayern could still win their league, the Bundesliga, but we don't know what's going to happen with the manager Flick. It seems like he's going to be on his way.
Yeah, it's not a disaster. It's the quarter-final of the Champions League. It's good teams at this stage. They're 5 points clear in the Bundesliga. If he goes to his national team, they'll get someone else in there. It's not the end of the world for him. Plenty of managers have come and gone there in the last few years, and it hasn't stopped them winning things. So, listen, it'll be interesting to see who does get that job, but I wouldn't think it'll be the end of the world if he leaves. Let's
have a look at what Bayern managed to create in the second half. Kevin, if you kick us off on this.
Yeah, not a whole lot, to be honest with you. I think we have 4 clips here. It was all very static from them. There was no real pace, no one really getting in behind. You know, Motin up front, he's not Lewandowski. You know, and it was, you know, it just felt like they were never going to score. You watch them time after time. They get so many people forward, but everyone wants to come short. All of it is pulled back, shots outside the box. You know, this is the, you know, I suppose that right at the very end, you think maybe they might nick something. And it's not for lack of numbers forward. You always talk about getting players in the box and you'll score goals. They got plenty in, but they couldn't pick out the final ball. You never felt like they were going to score. And that was it, the last kick of the game for them. You know, they'll be bitterly disappointed that they didn't create a couple of real good opportunities. And they looked vulnerable going the other way all the time.
Yeah, and Stephen, something Stephanie said in the commentary about the service that was coming in. Okay, they didn't have Lewandowski. Choupo-Moting scored his goal in the first half. But, like, Sané, as you said, did play well. But what about the service into whoever was in there this evening? Was that up to standard?
I think the service was up to standard, but also the movement of the ball was up to standard. Choupo-Moting is very much a central figure, and he doesn't come off. Lewandowski pulls off shoulders, creates space, he feeds off him, he fixes around the corner, he moves. Sané was the real threat. Every time they got the ball to him, he was trying to take them all, and the defender came on backer had a tough night. It was, you know, Sané saw him, smelled blood and went for him, and he was the only one that was getting the ball at his feet and creating stuff. But apart from that, it was a bit static for them, and that's Choupo-Moting is not Lewandowski. He doesn't move like him, he doesn't create space like him, he doesn't play balls on the corner. The ball has to be onto his head or into his feet. But overall, you know, their creativity up front was nothing like PSG's. And for me, PSG just were guilty of missing chances and making timed runs in the second half. Mbappe could have been in 3 or 4 times if he had a timed his run better. But, you know, some of the stuff they played was just wonderful to watch.
We have some second half chances from them to have a look at here. If you give us your thoughts on these.
Again, this one here starts off with Neymar running behind the space, gets a turn, takes a shot too early, but this starts with Neymar in the middle of the pitch, goes past 3 or 4 players here, flicks it into Mbappe, who stands up, comes back inside, finds Di Maria on the far side of the pitch, and this touch here is exquisite into the box here. We were wishing for this to go in because all around this was just a wonderful goal, skill from every angle. All the 3 players have been so influential in the whole game, and we're all in the panel here thinking you want that to go in because you don't want to punish skill, you want to see a finish up a goal. They didn't put away, and maybe that's something they're guilty of. They create opportunities and they're just not scoring them. But for me, overall, at times they tore Bayern apart, and that's not what you see often. Not with a Bayern team, you don't see them being ripped to shreds like that. And you know, those players, you really do want to see them in the next stage of this competition because they can cause so many problems to teams.
And they had to, I suppose, you know, we've talked about the Bayern service, the fluffing their lines in front of the PSG goal. But like PSG had to really dig in at the end to stop concession of this all-important second Bayern goal.
Yeah, if you were Pochettino, you'd be delighted, I think, with their work rate all round. I was talking about the front 4 and their work rate earlier. This is Neymar tracking back, misses the tackle, and who's following him? Mbappe. Second half, 67 minutes, your two centre forwards who did stay up the pitch a lot of the time, but showing a work rate, which I don't know if we've seen there before. It gives you a feeling that they're sort of all in this together now, that they are a team, they're not superstars. When you've got Mbappe, a superstar like him, tracking back where your fullback should be, winning tackles, trying to prevent a corner, it's a really good sign of a spirit in the camp, a real will to win. And I think a PSG of last year, the year before, would have conceded a goal in the last few minutes there, would have gone out and would have been a hard luck story, and they didn't. They kept going, they kept battling, it wasn't going their way. They were playing really well, they kept going, they kept trying to create chances. They weren't getting the finishing touch on it, but they weren't showing frustration. They were going again, trying to create the next one, Mbappe, Neymar, Di Maria were showing an energy right till the final whistle, trying to create, and they weren't trying to time waste or whatever. They were still trying to score right up to the end.
Navas did a tiny bit of time wasting at the end, but you're allowed one. You're allowed one. But is that the kind of missing piece in the PSG puzzle? That kind of to have Neymar and Mbappe tracking back and working that hard,
working as a unit. That's what I suppose everybody's seen them as being individuals. And Pochettino is such a firm believer as having his team work as a unit all together in this as a fight. Get behind the ball, help each other out, which before we see them as just being three isolated players or two isolated players that go and create some magic but not really track back. And there's parts of the game we highlight beforehand with Neymar being unselfish at times. Again, he could have been a bit unselfish once with Mbappe, but you do see a work ethic about them that's you think will bring them further along, and hopefully that's something Pochettino can bring to them.
Yeah, he's all about that, the work ethic, the energy. Like, you can see his imprint on the team.
Yeah, listen, football can be very simple. If you can get the best squad of players, and they have, one of the best squads of players, if you can get your best players working hard, it can be as simple as that. You look at PSG in recent years and you talk about Neymar and you think, he's not putting a shift in, he just wants to do it when he has the ball. And tonight he did it when he didn't have the ball, continuously for 90 minutes. And that, I don't know if that's Pochettino or he's a realisation grown up. He's grown up now, he's an older player. Mbappe, some of Mbappe's influence on him and watching him, I don't know. But if you can get Mbappe, Neymar, Di Maria working hard, it's easy for them to just go out and forget about the other side of play. And they didn't tonight. And that's, it made Bayern look very ordinary the way PSG played.
That Bayern team, Stephen, just briefly, I suppose the manager may change. Alaba, Boateng leaving, Thiago went at the start of last season. They're talking about money issues with COVID. Is there a big job of rebuilding that team? I know Lewandowski comes back, other players, but do they need surgery on that team now to compete and win this thing again in the next, say, 3 years?
Well, on the back of what they did last season and going into this competition at the start, they were firm favourites. You couldn't see past them. Even though Thiago gone to Liverpool and a few people have changed, you couldn't see past Bayern because their efficiency and the way they played. But there is a change in the team now. There's going to be a change in the manager. Possibly the board seems a bit disgruntled. So, yeah, you can see change. Yeah,
Upamecano is going to the club for the start of next season. Who'll be the manager there? Well, we'll find out in due course. That's it from us for this evening even. Thanks to Kevin and Stephen for their company here in studio on a night when PSG knocked out the holders Bayern. It's Pochettino's side that go through to the semi-final.